Good morning, everyone. Dr. Stillman and Amy Arp here for another episode of Monday Masterclass. And today I'm delighted to announce a new format. So for those of you who've stuck with me over the years on the Substack, you know it's gone from more text-based content to more a mix of some text posts and then audio-visual posts of various kinds. And now we're actually going to just go ahead and turn it into a podcast because that's what everybody wants. And because the thing that really matters to me most is making the content engageable, easy to access, convenient. I noticed my own patterns of behavior. I'm either reading a book or I'm listening to a podcast. And, it can always be put on YouTube. It can always be put on Facebook. We can always put it more places, but I think the best option for everyone for really getting the most out of this is going to be a podcast. And so that's where we're headed. And fortunately, we've got Amy to help us do this. As far as what we're going to be covering, I'm really excited to announce that we are going to be covering a mix of topics, but it's primarily going to be books. Life-changing, mind-altering, amazing, in a good way. Amazing books. And the first book we're going to do is the book that's most recently blown my mind, which is a book called The 4 Disciplines of Execution. We will be reviewing that next week at our Monday Masterclass. And I will be talking about what this book has to teach everyone about how to be healthy and well. And then we've got a whole suite of additional episodes lined up. After that, when we can, or when I want to, we're going to have the author of a book on to talk about their book. We'll also have testimonials from people about products or paradigms, treatment modalities. And the title of the podcast is going to be Integrative Medicine with Dr. Stillman. So that's the plan. And I'd love it if you all read along with the book. If you'd like to support the podcast, you can either upgrade to the premium version of this Substack, or you can go to stillmanwellness.com and jump into one of our memberships. The podcast is going to be run through Substack, and premium members will get a link to the podcast recordings live. So you can tune in at 11 a.m. every week, Eastern, Mondays, with some exceptions for the occasional vacation or sick day or whatever. So you can tune in live and you can ask your questions as we're going over the books, or you can ask your questions of the experts we're going to bring on as we're actually running the show. If you want to jump into Q&As, that's going to be over at Stillman Wellness, because we just don't have enough time in the schedule for all the Q&As we would like to do. So we appreciate your support. And without further, and just to be really clear, if you want to participate, read the book, The 4 Disciplines of Execution. The authors are Chris McChesney, Sean Covey, and Jim Hewling. So read that, come with your questions next week. And without further ado, Amy, what have we got on the docket this week?
Wonderful. Well, first I want to say I'm so excited. I think it's going to be fun, especially as we've been lining up different podcast speakers and authors. It's going to be really exciting. So I'm personally excited.
It's going to be unlike any other podcast out there in integrative medicine, because I'm going to ask people hard questions and we're going to talk about what really works. This is going to be a no fluff, no frills podcast. And most of the podcasts in the health and wellness space are very, they're not geared towards a really, I don't know. They're just not, they don't resonate with me. I love a lot of them. I listen to a lot of them regularly, but they're not asking the questions that I want to ask. So I think people are going to really enjoy what we put together.
I agree. I am very excited about this as well. I think there's a lot of times I want to find an answer. I'm looking for a podcast and it just doesn't exist for some of these things. People don't often talk about the things that, that are actually important. So I'm excited for that.
I stopped listening to a lot of health and wellness podcasts because it was just the same thing over and over and over.
Agreed.
It was basically, I have this great product. It's good for all these things. Don't you want to buy it? And there's a time and a place for that. But when you're dealing with sick people